Jump scare in 3, 2, 1. You guys, I am so swollen in my face, and that is due to the need for and the actual doing of a root canal, an emergency root canal. I have no idea why my nerve decided to just shrivel up and die, but here we are after 6 days of dealing with excruciating pain and now severe swelling for 3-4 days. It's not fun. And why would I dare come on here and show this? Well, I actually feel like I want to chat with you about something that sounds funny, but I feel like the Lord was using this, like, obviously not causing, but I feel like the Lord was like speaking to me about something because of everything that I was going through with this pain, this tooth pain, this root canal, whole trauma, which, story time, there's some trauma, okay, guys? Not good, not good. So, story time, Sunday night, my entire mouth started hurting really, really badly. And I did not know why. It came out of nowhere. It was excruciating. And so Brian ran to the store, got me some like Orajel, some like numbing mouthwash, which did very little to help, but it did allow me to like get to sleep. And then Monday, it was just on my right side. Tuesday, it was just on my top right. And then I was able to pinpoint the actual tooth that was causing all of the problems. Wednesday, I was able to get in for an emergency at the dentist, and that's when my face started swelling up. And so that's when I started to like actually panic, and I was like, what's going on? So I got into the dentist, talked to him for like 3 minutes, and he's like, I think you need a root canal. I was like, fantastic. So the earliest I could get into the endodontics was the next day. So I did have to deal with a whole other day, but I got started on penicillin, which ideally is supposed to help with the swelling. And so I did start that. And then my face was even more swollen that next day, which was Thursday. So I go and get the root canal, and they numb me up. And I don't know if this is common, but my hands started like cramping really bad. And like, of course, they leave you for like 20 minutes to let it like take full effect. And I was like trying not to panic because like I couldn't open my hands, which was kind of scary. What, baby? What was I saying? So they numb me up, and I try not to panic because, like I said, I'm cramping up really bad. And so I ask like a passing nurse or whatever they are, dental hygienist or something, for some water, and that helps me feel a little bit better. So now I'm just like, okay, hoping that this goes by really fast. I just keep telling myself, in an hour it'll be over, in an hour it'll be over. An hour's gonna come regardless. I just have to get to the next hour. So they get started, and you guys, partway through, I feel the drilling into my tooth, and I almost jump out of the chair. It was so painful, and he was so apologetic. He was super, super nice, and he's like, let's get you numbed up a little more. And he numbs like, so now I already am numbed here. I get numbed again, which, if you know, like the numbing needle hurts like the dickens already. And so I have to deal with that. And then he goes on the inside. He's like, let's get this side too, just in case. And he's been really, like I said, very nice, very like calm and all that stuff. Well, I'm like trying not to cry, and I'm not happy. So they get me numbed up, and once again, my hands start cramping, and I'm like trying to breathe, and my heart is like pounding. And he's trying to explain, you know, again, very calmly, like there is like epinephrine in the numbing, like the anesthesia or for it or whatever. And so, it, you know, if I feel my heart pounding, like it's okay, like it should pass in just a moment. And I'm just like, I can't believe I just felt that pain. I'm trying not to cry. My hands are cramping. My heart is pounding. I'm like panicking. And so I'm like, why did this have to happen to me, right? And this is just so ridiculous. I can't believe I'm trying to like tell you the story with my face like this. Okay, moving on. So I get through. They take another x-ray, everything's all good, so root canal is done. Long story short, definitely sobbed in the car. I'm just like, I had already had an experience with my actual dentist where I felt pain and they had to numb me up again, and so I also almost jumped out of that dentist chair. So I'm like, really, another like traumatic, like I have PTSD, you know what I mean? Which I think it helps to like talk about, to kind of like process a little bit better. But like if not, I would have like severe anxiety going into the dentist like every visit. So, and he just like was really kind and just said like, you know, some people need a little bit more anesthesia, and we always start with like, you know, the normal medium amount, and sometimes we have to do a little bit more. And he was super sorry that I had to feel anything. Long story short, long story long, I don't know. I get home and I just like go to bed. Thankfully, Brian came home from work to like take care of the kids because I was just like done for the day. Good news is like the pain is going down. It's not localized to that tooth and like creating like zings into my brain, but still dealing with obviously the swelling, and the pain is like in my upper cheek, feeling heavy going down, and it's like it feels really thick, of course, right here, but it's just like I can move my mouth a lot better, but it's just right here is just like throbbing. In fact, like last night at 2 a.m. I woke up to the pain, and it took me an hour to get back to bed because I took some ibuprofen and like it took a while to like take effect. Anyway, what it made me think of, because I was obviously like praying about this to the Lord and being like, why is this happening? Because what I'm starting to do is look at what I'm going through as something the Lord wants to use to talk to me about. And so I was like, what is this about? Like, why am I having tooth pain? This is even before I knew about the root canal, so it actually makes even more sense now. But I felt like what he reminded me about is the verse in Proverbs when it says jealousy is like rottenness to the bones. And it just made me think, like, of course now looking back, I'm like, oh wow, like a root canal is literally like, it sounds weird, but like a rotten nerve, like a dead nerve, like a nerve that decided to stop working and needs to get like cleaned out and or whatever. I don't obviously know all the talk, but so I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense now. And I was like, okay, Lord, like, what are you trying to say to me? And he was just like really talking more about like how easy it is, especially online, to get into that comparison culture, to get into now thinking like your life isn't measuring up in some way. And I think a lot of us can attest to that, and myself included. And I thought that I was working on that, and I am, but I think it's just like because I still like to watch other videos or other people, and like there's some people I'm like, I feel like their lives just seem more intact than mine, or like their lives seem like they're furthering with their passion, or their, you know what I mean? Like there's something that they have that's more than what I have, which obviously isn't true. If we look at it with the world's point of view, then yeah, it might seem to be true. Like maybe they're able to make the income where their husband can stay home with them, and that's a dream of mine, you know, or they, you know, were able to, you know, build a house on acres of land, and now their kids can grow up in this like sweet, slow, like, you know what I mean? Like whatever your idea of ideal world, and it seems like somebody else is getting that, which is a stupid thing, because I'm like, what the Lord has been teaching me is that my life is going on as it goes on, and it's not like waiting for some moment to be, you know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, wait, the life that I'm living right now is the life I'm supposed to be living, and I'm not waiting for a part of my life to start, which sounds so crazy, and I didn't really address it fully until he was obviously talking to me about it. But like I said, I think we all fall into some sort of comparison or jealousy category, and it may just be like from your workplace, or like it doesn't have to be from the like social media aspect, which like I even got rid of my social media like last year. I had no social media. I deleted my Instagram, I hadn't had a TikTok, and I even deleted my YouTube and was like, I'm not doing anything because I felt led to. And then the Lord like reawakened part of that to me and was like, actually, I want you to create a YouTube channel and get on the other side of this. And so that's been a whole other journey for me, because I was like trying not to intake, but now I'm in it again, and I'm trying to like find those good boundaries. But ultimately, I'm just like realizing how we all fall prey to this, and whatever that looks like for you may look different than what it looks like for me. But ultimately, it's like, if we are living our lives for the Lord, like we are in the center of his will, and that's the best place to be. It won't help me to be doing something that maybe years from now I might be doing, or I might not, but that wouldn't help me now. If this is where he has me now, I actually get to just rest and be still in his presence. And sometimes, as a mom of many kids, that looks like just going through the day to day and fighting the battles of attitudes and, you know, discipline, and trying to shape these kids, or trying to just continue to unify with my husband. And so all of that, it's like, that's not meaningless work. And I've been falling prey to like that thought that it's just meaningless work, or like it's not enough. And that's the catch for me, like that I'm not doing enough. And I've always been one who tackles a lot of things at one time. And so what the Lord has had to work with me about a lot is the pulling back and the slowing down and not trying to take on everything. Because what I see in my mind's eye for like the future, it may be there and it may be great, but it's not yet. So I'm struggling with that of, I want to get there. And he's like, but where I have you right now is exactly where you need to be in order to get there, not to try to make it happen in my own strength. So it kind of sounds weird that a tooth pain, crazy emergency root canal thing, the Lord could actually speak through that and talk about things that are in my heart and in probably all of our hearts, and use it as a way to like encourage us to like go forward in more peace and more obedience and more openness and honesty with the Lord, even transparency with our own hearts, because of course he knows our hearts better than we do. And so it's an opportunity for us to then ask the Lord, like, what is it that's in my heart that I'm comparing to someone else? I'm not comparing to you, because that should be our ultimate like bar, is we should just reach for the Lord and say, Lord, whatever you want to have happen, I want to be on that team, and not look at somebody else who they're going through their own struggles. They're going through their own life with the Lord. And it's not to say that they're all wrong or they're all right. It's totally different. Like we are supposed to run our own race. And so we're not behind. If we are asking the Lord every day, what would you have me do today? Then that's enough. That's what we are supposed to do. And some days it's, just being still and sitting on the couch with your sick child, which that also happened this week. So I was handling a sick child, my baby who's a toddler now, getting into everything, plus an enormous amount of pain, and my husband was working, and so there was a lot of things going on. And I was like, how am I going to get through this week? A lot of screen time. We did a lot of screen time, but that's okay. Some weeks you just have to get through. But ultimately, using every trial that we go through as an opportunity to speak more to the Lord and say, Lord, what are you trying to speak to me about? And he can use anything. And I think if we come at it from that angle, it actually is more exciting to have that relationship with the Lord, where we look for little secrets and look for little mysteries and look for answers to questions that we have, because he can use anything, even the tough times and the trials that we go through and we face. And he loves to do that, So I know this is like a super random video. You get like my traumatic side of my dentist experience, and then you get hopefully an encouragement to keep running your own race and not compare yourself or your value to someone else. Just to continue to reach for the Lord and ask him what he wants you to do, and trust him that he will get you where you need to go. Because we are all on our own path, and he has shaped every brick on that path to spur us on, to get us closer to are fulfilling our own destiny, and it doesn't help if we get off the path or we try to jump on someone else's yellow brick road, you know? So anyway, very random. Thank you for being here. Thank you for not judging my half chipmunk face, as my husband likes to say. I'm honestly just trying to be super vulnerable because I could easily just rot in self-pity and feeling ugly. But this is my life right now. And hopefully you guys don't judge me for it. And I hope that it encouraged you and you stick around so that we can talk more. So anyway, I'm gonna go take care of my kiddos. So love you guys, bye.